Hello, everyone. I guess I'm going to show off the books that I got on Wednesday, as well as some books I picked up on a recent trip I just got back from. I've been busy, so I haven't been putting out videos and all that stuff. Um, so, yeah. So, firstly, get to the books that I got on Wednesday, which is a few, good sizable amount. I finally got Animal Man and Swamp Thing 12. This, of course, starts off the Rot World event that's going through these two books, and it's a good start. Um, I love Animal Man. I think it's one of DC's best titles, but admittedly, it's getting a little bit boring. Um, also I do miss the artist that was on it previously. Shit, whose name? Travel Foreman. That's it. Um, Steve Pugh is a good artist, but Travel Foreman is admittedly better. These stories were good. I liked them. The artwork was pretty good and all that. Um, I'm just excited to see what happens next. So, yeah. Before Watchmen Rorschach #1, I don't know what to say about this one. The artwork was very impressive. I love Lee Bermejo's work. I loved it ever since I read Joker way back when. And he's definitely fitting for this book. However, Brian Azzarello is just really having a hard time writing these Watchmen books. He just doesn't fit with the feeling of Watchmen. Now, I know the whole fact is that, yes, this isn't Alan Moore writing. Yes, this is pretty much fan fiction by this point, but Rorschach doesn't feel like Rorschach in this book. Um, it doesn't make sense for him to be swearing all the time. Um, and it's not even like he's saying, fuck this, fuck that, blah, 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 blah. A few times he says shit, and one time he says bitch, and it admittedly doesn't feel right. Uh, it just feels out of character, to be totally honest. And I'm still going to be reading this book because I thought it was good. And of course, the artwork is just fantastic. I love Bermejo's work. But I don't know what it is with Azzarello. It seems like he's struggling to fit in with it. Oh, it's good. I do recommend it. It really could be read as its own little thing. It really could be its own story, but instead it's just, a Watchmen tie-in. Daredevil Annual #1. The artwork was fantastic. The story, not so much. I really didn't care for this story. I didn't think it was written that well. Um, it was written and penciled by Alan Davis. Um, this artwork was fantastic. The coloring was fantastic. But the story and the dialogue in this just was not that good. I didn't even finish it because I was just that bored with it, with the story and where it was going. And I was just like, okay, I'm done. But the artwork is fantastic. I gotta admit, I really did like the artwork in this. So if you want a book with good art, worth a shot. It's $4.99. It's a little bit pricier because it's an extended kind of one shot. So yeah. And finally, I picked up a trade at my local store on Wednesday. and it's volume 6 of 100 Bullets, 6 feet under the gun. I really do like 100 Bullets a lot. Um, it's just a damn good series. The last trade, The Counterfeit Detective, I admittedly did not like as much. I thought it was good, but yeah, I don't know. It kind of went a little all over the place for me. Um, but I'm glad I saw this at my store. I just grabbed it because I just want to finish this series already. I believe there's like 10 trades, so I've got about 4 more trades left. Okay, and as you know, I went on a trip. I went to Prince Edward Island with my mother, and I went to a local comic book store there called the Comic Hunter, which is a store I've been going to for years. It's pretty much the store that really got me into comics. Um, if it wasn't for that store, I would have never gotten into the Sandman. I wouldn't have gotten into, jeez, there's just so much stuff that I bought there. Dark Knight Returns, The Long Halloween, so many amazing titles. Um, so I had a bunch of trade paperbacks and stuff that I just wanted to get rid of. Um, First, I went in and my mother gave me some money because I'm poor, even though I start work tomorrow. Yay. I went in because I didn't feel like walking with a fuck ton of books from where I was staying, which isn't that far, but those books were pretty heavy. And so she gave me some money. I went in. I spent about like $52 there, and then I asked her. I was like, "Okay, do trade-ins for trade paperbacks and stuff like that?" And she's like, "Well, it depends on what you have, but yes, we usually do." So I went in with all 16 volumes of The Walking Dead. I went in with Final Crisis, uh, Dark Knight Strikes Again, uh, Batman Contagion, which was an old copy of it, uh, a Superman paperback that compiles a shit ton of Superman stories, including one Alan Moore story. Um, and something called Red Prophet, done by Marvel Comics. It was originally a novel written by Orson Scott Card, which I actually bought at that store one year for $10, and I didn't really care for it. I got $191 in store credit, so I just went fucking wild in the store. So I got a shit ton of stuff. Um, so let's go through the trades first, I guess, because I did get quite a bit of single issues and some back issues, and we'll get to that. This is in no order, I guess. Firstly, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Volume 3, Century, 2009. This is the third and final chapter of the third volume of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Technically, it's the fourth, but they don't count Black Dossier as a numbered volume, but whatever. This was not really worth the wait. I'm going to be totally honest. Okay, I'm just going to spoil it right now. I don't even give a shit. Like, I remember buying the first chapter of it, which was 1910, when it came out, and waiting for 1969 and 2009 because it was supposed to be a 3-year thing where it went first 1910, then 1969, and then 2009 be released in 2009. It's 2012 now. And this finally got released. Last year, 1969 got released. It was just plagued by delays and all that stuff, which isn't uncommon for the creative team, Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill, because Kevin O'Neill takes time, which is understandable looking at the Alan Moore scripts. And the fact that I'm gonna say like the artwork, it paid off definitely for having the time because the artwork is fantastic in this. It a Kevin O'Neill drawn League book never lets me down art wise, but this story was just way too fucked for its own good. Okay, so we realized from the last chapter, after the weird incident at Hyde Park, where the Rolling Stone, I don't give a fuck, it's the Rolling Stones, okay? The Rolling Stones were playing a concert which was basically Ultima, but it was in England. And people rioted and people fucking hated it. So Oliver Hadot tried to possess Mick Jagger. Oliver Hadot is basically the fictional version of Aleister Crowley, by the way. But Mina had an out-of-body experience by taking Taduki, acid, and she fought him and his monster and his Cthulhu-looking monster self, which had a cock with an eye in it, on the ethereal plane. And then, while she's out of it, Lord fucking Voldemort, I'm not making this up, is feeling her up and trying to fucking rape her. And then Oliver Hadot possesses Voldemort, and then he goes onto platform 9 3/4 on the way to Hogwarts. So we learn in this, he then turns Harry Potter into the fucking Antichrist. So Harry Potter takes the lightning bolt scar off of him, and it's covered up with a band-aid, the whole thing. And then he turns into a monster with eyes all over him. He kills Alan Quatermain by shooting lightning out of his dick. And then Harry Potter proceeds to get his ass kicked by Mary fucking Poppins. I swear to fucking God, I am not making this up. Alan Moore, you just need to give me the drugs that you're on. Seriously, like... It's just so fucked. Like, oh my God. It wasn't worth the wait. Story-wise, it was weird how Alan Quatermain died when he was bathed in the pool in Uganda for immortality, which makes no sense, but magic, so whatever. And to be totally honest, I didn't read any of the back material for either three. Maybe I might give it a reread and then, read all of them. Because I did that with the other volumes too. I went back and I reread the end material. Because in every volume of the League, there's like a text story in the back. So, only get it if you're a giant Alan Moore fan like myself, or a big League of Extraordinary Gentlemen fan, I guess. I got JLA Earth 2 by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. I really enjoyed this story. The artwork is not up to snuff. I'm going to be totally honest. And Frank Quitely is my favorite artist. And there's just something about this, the interiors in this book. It's good. It definitely is. But it's not his best. And I think a lot of people may agree with me on that. Maybe it's that somebody might have inked it a little bit bad or something like that, or maybe the color job did that or something like that. It just didn't feel up to snuff with Quitely's other work. Now, to say this, his least best, because I don't want to say bad, because by no means is the artwork in this bad, because it really isn't bad at all. His least best work is still light years ahead of a lot of people's best. So it was a great read. I really did enjoy it. Just antimatter, alternate universes, and shit. It's just awesome space age, Grant Morrison penned superhero stuff, which is the best. we have volumes 3 of Scalped Dead Mothers and volume 4 The Gravel in Your Guts. I'm really getting into Scalped. The first 2 trades I enjoyed. And I just started reading this one just before filming this video, and I can see that this is just going to keep getting better and better as I keep going by trade. It just seems like one of those books that the more you read, the better it is, which is good. And I think it started off, well, but I was kind of like, okay, this is good, but I don't see, what's so amazing about it. And now I'm at the 3rd trade here, and I'm just like, this is definitely just gonna get better and better. So yeah. Now, I also got, oh, this was a pretty nice pickup. Volumes 1 and 2 of the Starman Omnibus by James Robinson and Tony Harris. Now, I've been loving Earth 2. I think Earth 2 is the best. It's basically the book that Justice League wants to be, but never will be. This, I've heard such good things about the James Robinson Starman series, and I saw that they put these omnibuses out. Omnibuses, omnibuy, whatever. And so I saw them there, and they were, cheaper than where else you would get them. And so I said, you know what, I might as well. The list price for these is $57.99 Canadian. I got this one for $47.99, and I got this one for $39.99, which is pretty good. Yeah, I'm very excited to start reading these, but I'll get to it later because I want to finish the volumes of Scalped I got there. And finally, in terms of trades, this was something that I saw and I was like, yep, I gotta get it. Will Eisner's The Contract with God trilogy. This includes A Contract with God, A Life Force, and Dropsy Avenue. Will Eisner is probably the greatest cartoonist that was ever in the comic book industry. Personally, the way I look at the industry and the way that I look at the creators and all that, I think that there are 2 creators who are the most important: Will Eisner and Jack Kirby, for their own respectful reasons and all that stuff. For the moment that I got into comics, I heard about A Contract with God, because it was considered pretty much the first graphic novel. I mean, Will Eisner penned the term pretty much when he was trying to sell books to publishers. He says, I got a graphic novel, and they just looked at it and they're like, it's a comic book, which it was. And A Contract with God was released in the early 80s, I believe. And it was considered the first graphic novel. It was like a full story in the comic book medium form, just released. And I said to myself, I have to read that because it's basically the foundation of trade paperbacks and all that stuff. It's very important to the comic book medium, and I said I have to read it. I mean, there's a reason why they name the most prestigious award in this medium after Will Eisner. I've read one thing by him before, and it's a little drawn quarterly that he did, and it was just fantastic. So, gotta get some Will Eisner. And this is a really nice hardcover. This is just a beautiful, beautiful, thick book. So that's all the trades I got. But I also picked up quite a bit of back issues and some new regular issues as well. So firstly, we have Saga number 6, because Saga is the best fucking ongoing right now, and I'm pretty sad that this book is not going to be around for a couple of months, but at the same time, you can't rush perfection, right? So uh, I'll be so glad to see this come back. And we got Daredevil number 17. Oh, Mike Allred, please do a Daredevil book. I don't like. I know I'm gonna buy the FF Marvel Now relaunch book, but please do Daredevil, just please. And that's no disrespect to Chris Samnee, because Chris Samnee is fucking fantastic as well. But it felt so fucking right seeing Mike Allred draw Daredevil. It just felt so good. Oh my god, such a good issue. All right, and we got some back issues here, and I forgot a bunch of them upstairs, so I'll be right back. Sorry about that, I didn't plan ahead. We have issues 3, 8, 11, and 12 of All-Star Superman. Now, All-Star Superman is one of those books that I want to get the back issues for, and I only need to get 3 more. I need to get 5, 6, and 9. It's probably my favorite superhero story. Frank Quitely art is just beautiful, and the story is just written so well. And also these issues just look so nice. They just have beautiful, beautiful covers. Batman Meets the Spirit by Jeff Loeb and Darwin Cook. This is an Eisner Award-winning one-shot. This is just a one-shot story about the one and only time that Batman and the Spirit teamed up. And it's just so corny, but it's so fun, and it's just a good little story. It's compiled in one of Darwin Cook's editions of the Spirit. I think it might be in volume 2. I can't remember. It's been a while since I read them. And it's just a damn good little story. It's funny. It's tongue-in-cheek. It's not meant to be taken completely serious, but it's just awesome. And finally, now this is a big find for me. This store, like I mentioned earlier, I bought every single volume of The Sandman. And as I was telling the lady who worked there, as she remembered me, she's like, "You do know we have the back issues to Sandman?" And I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah." So the guy who worked there went in the back, took out 2 big fucking long boxes, and sure enough, they nearly had the entire fucking series of Sandman in issues, and all original too. So I picked up 3 of them, and I picked up issue 8, also known as The Sound of Her Wings. This is the first appearance of Death. This was put out in August of 1989. Wow. Issue number 3, also known as the issue where John Constantine and the Sandman go looking for his bag of sand. March of 1989. And finally, Sandman issue number 1. January 1989. This is just an amazing find for me, and it's such a shamanic thing. It just comes full circle. The fact that I started reading Sandman, I bought the first 3 trade paperbacks there a couple of summers ago, and then I buy the first couple of issues there. They nearly had every single series. They were missing a few issues. They didn't have issue 2. I think they had issue 4 or 5, maybe 6. I already have issues 9 and 10. And I looked to see if they had the very last issue, issue 75, but they didn't. They had the penultimate, and they had issue 73, and a bunch of issues from the Wake, actually. Um, they just had so many fucking issues, and I was just like so awestruck by it. Like, I was just not in my state of mind. I was just fucking grabbing shit. They even had issues for the Dream Hunters drawn by P. Craig Russell. I already read Dream Hunters. I read the original Yoshitaka Mono drawn version, which isn't a comic book. It's more of a storybook. But this is just such an amazing find for me. I was like thinking about picking up an issue on eBay, which they were fucking expensive on eBay. And the thing is, you don't know the quality that they're in, but this is just in such pristine condition. Like, look at it. Just look. It's so... I'm just so awestruck that I got this and I found this. Like, it's just... It blows my mind. So the next time I'm in PEI, I'm just buying all fucking Sandman stuff. So that's it. Pretty long, I know, but I did get quite a bit. Will there be a video on Wednesday? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to try to keep up a consistent schedule. I'm going to try to, just keep up with these videos and do all that. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm just still so fucking psyched that I got those issues of Sandman. And, have a good day. Comment down below. And like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Have a good one. Read good comics.